guys doing? This is Argustic Dunbar, the hybrid entrepreneur, here with Jennifer. Jennifer, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. She's the CEO and founder of Just Elope Dallas. I said that correctly,
yes.
right?
Yes.
So, love Jennifer's energy. Let me tell you a little bit about her business and her accolades so far. So, the fastest growing elopement and pop-up wedding company in Dallas.
Yes.
Right? That's a tongue twister right there. I love
Texas.
it. In Texas. Okay, Texas. You've worked with local Dallas news stations.
Yes.
You have a partnership with professional and semi-professional teams in the Dallas area,
yes.
and more than quadrupled your business from 2017 to 2018.
Yes.
Love what you and your husband are doing.
Thank you.
So tell the people a little bit about yourself, like how you got started, or maybe even a little bit about your company to begin with.
Okay. So we started Just Elope Dallas because my husband and I eloped. He was leaving for deployment. We needed to figure out a quick way to get married, so we went to City Hall. Unfortunately, we were looking for something that we could do instead of going to City Hall, but it did not exist. And so we decided, okay, we'll just go to City Hall, and then while he's deployed, I'll start planning this amazing wedding. Well, we quickly realized our definition of amazing was very expensive.
So you were saying that there's really expensive weddings and there's like really cheap.
Right.
There's nothing in between.
There was nothing in between, and so it was like, okay, we would start planning, stop planning, start and stop, and then we ended up having our first son, and then when he was 10 months, we ended up getting pregnant with our second son, and at that point, I just could not justify the expense of a wedding, because you have two small children. We've been married for, at that point, 5 years. So it's like, girl, your turn is over. Let it go. It's done for you.
These are the things you were saying to yourself.
Yeah, like, okay, you have passed your point. Like, stop. And so I just decided, you know what? I don't want anybody else to feel like that. I don't want another bride to feel like her only option is to go to City Hall or go to Vegas. There was nothing in between. So we started Just Elope Dallas. Our very first year was February 2017, and we booked 9 weddings the entire year. I was super excited.
What was your goal? Did you have a goal for that year?
We didn't have a goal. I mean, I was just shocked that somebody even wanted to book with us. Because I could not believe it. And so when we started this year, we said we wanted our goal to be 25 weddings. I'm like, if we can just get to 25 weddings from January to December of 2018, then I feel like, we could be on to something.
Yeah.
We booked our 25th wedding in June of this year.
Wow.
And these are all weddings taking place within 2018. And as of today, we've booked 35.
Wow. So you exceeded your goal. You met your goal by half the year and have already exceeded your goal. Okay.
And so to go from February to December of 2017, only booking 9, to now we're just at the end of August and we've already booked 35. It just blows my mind. So, I mean, just at the pace that we are accelerating.
And so I think the most impressive thing, tell me if this is true, you still have a full-time job.
So I work full-time. We have 2 sons.
Wow. Full-time mother, full-time employee. And I love it.
Full-time wife. That is a full-time,
absolutely.
full-time situation. And so, yes. And as a small business owner who does work full-time, there are tons of struggles that I have run into. One of the biggest things is the why not me syndrome. And you look at social media and you see people that are excelling and doing all these things, and so you get into this mind frame of, well, why aren't I getting these things? Like, why haven't I met this point? I know the work that I'm putting in behind the scenes, so why haven't I got to that point? I think the turning point in my business was when I decided to start competing against myself. So I can only track my work.
Yes.
So the moment I realized, if I got up today and I did, we can use working out as an analogy. If I got up this morning and I walked 1 mile, well, if I'm competing with myself, then the next day I want to try to see if I can do 1.5 miles, because the only thing that I can control is the amount of work that I'm putting out. Once I started doing that, I noticed how much more success I started to get, because I was so much more focused on the things that I was doing right and wrong versus looking at what other people posted. Nobody posts failures.
That's true.
Nobody posts the struggles. Nobody posts the doubts and the fears. So your gauge is really, is thrown off because you're thinking, man, like
everybody's winning.
Everybody's winning.
Why am I struggling?
I'm over here struggling, trying to cook dinner, trying to get the kids in the bathtub. Like, why am I struggling?
Yeah.
But they're probably struggling too.
Yes, we just don't show those.
Right.
Yes.
And then it's like, if you think this person is doing better than you, then you need to, even if you don't know them, you've never met them, outwork them. Say, okay, in my mind, I would say this person probably getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting up at 5. Like I'm about to, if I gotta leave out the house at 6:30 in the morning, I need to get up at 4:30 so I can dedicate an hour to my business before I start getting dressed to go to somebody else's business and work for them.
So let's talk about that. Your work ethic. It sounds like you have an incredible work ethic.
I try.
Is that something that you've always had, or was it something that like it kind of grew over time? Like, were you always like this much of a hustler?
According to my mom, yes.
Okay.
So I have had a job since I was 14.
Okay.
When they let kids go through like the work program in the summertime.
And are you from Dallas?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm born in Chicago, but I have lived in Dallas since I was in the 6th grade. So at this point, I'm 32. I'm from Dallas.
Gotcha.
I've always had a job. My mom has not had to buy me anything since I was 14, outside of whatever she wanted to. I'm a firm believer that you are not owed anything. You need to get out there every single day and get it by any means necessary. There's not an excuse in the world as to why you can't accomplish what you want to accomplish. And I think that what so many business owners lack is not the talent, it's not the ideas, it's not any of that, it's the discipline.
Yes.
Because in order to be great at anything, you can have as much God-given ability as you want, but hard work beats talent every single time. LeBron James is probably the greatest person to ever play basketball outside of Michael Jordan.
Okay. You're Jordan. Okay.
But he works out every single day.
Yeah.
He goes hard every single day.
Yeah.
Not because he has to. He probably could just sit at the house and get out there and literally beat
half the people.
Clearly.
98. Yeah.
But that's not what's cemented his legacy. It's because that hard work is there. And I just pride myself on working hard every single day, providing amazing customer service. I think people don't really understand as a small business owner how important that is. Your reputation is all you have.
Yes. And
even when you don't want to go, if you've already committed to a client and they become difficult, you have to stick it out. Once you're done with them, make a new policy and procedure so that you can avoid that going forward. Because if you see, okay, well, that really didn't work, cut it off for the next person, and so that way when you streamline your business, that's why big corporations have a handbook this thick. Somebody messed up in order for the rule to get put into the book. Be there
if someone didn't already, makes
so
sense.
Every time something happens as a business owner, you can't let it slide. You have to immediately create a rule for it.
Can you give us an example?
Oh, yes, Lord.
She's like, I got millions of them.
Millions. Rule number 1 is that we do not allow brides to reschedule their weddings outside of the calendar year. And the reason for that is because as a small business owner, your funds are directly going into my household. So if you've paid me for something, a service, not a product, you've paid me for a service, I'm a small business owner, I probably just bought school clothes, soccer shoes, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
If you cancel and now I have to carry you over to the next calendar year, I've already lost that money. Number 1, because it's already gone. Number 2, now you're taking a spot for a new potential person that could have been in that spot. So we allow brides to reschedule their wedding, but it has to be within the calendar year. They have to give us the new date within 15 days because we started having people saying, oh, my wedding's in February. Oh, but I want to get married next February. And it's like, no, we can't do that. So many things in our business structure could change to where now we can accommodate what it is that you want. Maybe we've scaled back. Maybe the price has changed, but you still want that same thing. As a small business, you can't always accommodate that. You can return something to Walmart
Yeah.
No matter what, and they're gonna give you a gift card because it's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
We are the drop and the bucket. Like, I cannot. Like,
yeah.
So, and I think that's tough. It's just sticking to your rules.
So let me ask you this, right? Change subject a little bit, because you said it's not about talent, it's not about ideas. You said it's about discipline, which I largely agree with that. One of the podcasts I listened to, dude's always talking about, he said something about discipline. He said that discipline is fleeting, meaning when you get tired, you've had a long day, like no matter how disciplined you are, discipline will fail you.
Okay.
So he says, instead of trying to be disciplined, just build successful habits.
Okay.
So that way
I agree
a
with that.
habit is like, this is something you do no matter what that you're thinking of. So tell us some of maybe the habits that you had earlier on in your business, or when you, because this is not your first business, right? You had
Right.
a couple other. So maybe go back to then, like a habit that you had that worked for you as an employee, but once you started your business, you're like, this habit does not serve me.
So one of my big things, when I first started back in 2011, I started an event planning company. And when I was working, at that point, I did data entry. I did medical billing and coding. So I could work and I would be watching Netflix while I'm working, and just because it was just mindless work. So I figured, okay, when I get home and I'm working on my own business, then I can keep that same thing going, that same, just because that was my routine. I would cut the show on and I would work. When you are doing something that takes a creative thought, you have to I have to be zoned into that. So I had to start developing the habit of, I could not watch TV. I couldn't watch anything that I was interested in. I don't get on social media while I'm working, except in increments. So I'll tell myself, okay, once I edit 15 pictures, then I can post something about my work. Or if I want to take a 5-minute break, then I can. I can't like, oh, this is loading, let me scroll on here. I cannot do it. You have to be disciplined enough to form the habits that you keep going. And I think that if you don't have that, you're gonna fail, because so many people enjoy things while it's fun and while it's fresh. And you have to have the grit to want to keep going even when it's not fun. There are days when Just Elope Dallas is not fun. I have 100 pictures to edit from a wedding. My kids want to go to the pool. My husband needs his time, and I just don't want to do it. And I'm like, oh, well, I can just tell them, it'll be a day later with these pictures. I know I told them today, but that's not an option for me.
Yeah.
Because the habit that I formed is I stand by my word. All of my brides receive what they're going to receive when I say that they're going to get it. It doesn't matter if I stay up to 2-3 o'clock in the morning. You have to have the discipline, the habit, the willpower, all of those things to keep pushing. And if you stop doing something because it's no longer fun, then maybe it's just a hobby for you, and that's okay.
I was told hobbies pay you like hobbies, meaning you don't get paid very much.
Oh yeah. And I think also as the business owners, we have to be willing to understand that everything is not going to work for you. And telling yourself, if I just keep at it, I know it's going to pay off. That's not true. Okay. I could get up every single day and go to the court and hoop my heart out. I'm not making the team. Like, it's just not for me.
Yeah.
And if you do something, I was told, if you do something for 3 years without making a profit from it, it's not a business, it's a hobby. So at some point, you got to be willing to walk away from the situation and see what did you really like, and what can you take from that to build something else. I really enjoyed the event planning that I was doing, but I didn't like the fact that I was constantly having to secure vendors and all this and that. So when I started this business, I knew that I made it so basic that I do all the photography. My husband did the officiating. I didn't have to control anybody else but the two of us. There were no outside people. And now that we are growing, we are growing a actual team. And so it's like, these are people that we've vetted and we've talked to, and they understand the nature of our business. But I couldn't handle that then. You know, I wasn't mentally in a position to speak up for myself and say, this is how, you know, this is going. This is what we doing. This is what you're getting paid. This how we rolling. And at that time, it was like, well, you know, just kind of tell me what, you know, what you want to do. No,
Gotcha.
I'm a whole mama out here in these streets. Like my lifestyle has changed.
So you're what were you saying? Which word am I looking for? Your capacity as an entrepreneur is a lot better today than what it was way back when. Yes. I like it. I think we're close to like the 20-minute mark. I don't want to go a whole lot. Okay. I do want to ask you a couple questions though. So accountability on those days when you don't feel like doing things, right? Because not everyone, you like I said, discipline is only so strong. Who holds you accountable even when you don't want it?
Oh my God, my husband for sure.
Okay.
Because I'll tell him, I'll say, okay, I have to get 1, 2, and 3 done.
Yes.
And then once I get to that point, he's like, come on. You said you was gonna finish. I'm gonna take the kids. We're gonna go to the pool. We're gonna go outside. You need a couple minutes. You need to go ahead.
So he's your biggest supporter, biggest cheerleader, everything.
Hands down.
Okay.
And my mom and sister as well.
What is it like working and running a business with your spouse? Was he involved in the first couple businesses as well? Okay.
So I made it a point to bring him into Hot Pink. I mean, well, it was Hot Pink Life was our first business, but I made it a point to bring him into Just Elope because as an entrepreneur, you know, you get so focused on what you're trying to do that you have the blinders on.
Yes.
So it's like, it doesn't matter, you know, that this person needs time or you need to do this, you need to do that. In your heart, you feel like, no, I have to do this right now. So when we started Just Elope Dallas, I wanted to make sure that I created something that we can do together so that we both can be involved in the process so that he wouldn't feel like he wasn't involved, he was left out, that he had a voice in what was going on, and that way it was something that we could do together.
Okay.
But so yeah, definitely.
Love it. Last question. Again, full-time employee, full-time wife, full-time mother. I'm sure you work more than 40 hours a week on your business, so full-time in your business as well. How do you go about, like, talk to me about either like balance or time management? Like, tell me what that's like for you. How do you find, like, is it 100% balance? Do you spend equally amount of time with your kids, on your business, on your your job? What is that like?
It's impossible to balance anything, and people ask me this all the time, and I just tell them on some days you are going to suck at something, and you just have to figure out on this day, this is what I'm going to suck at. Some days, I mean,
I ain't never heard that before. Yeah.
Period. Because if you put it in perspective of, okay, this is what I'm going to do really well at today, you have to be honest with yourself and say, you know what, today I'm gonna be a sucky mom, and we're eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for dinner. Yeah. The kids love it. They don't know that I'm being a sucky mom, but I do. You know, where it's like today, like I'm not wearing any makeup to work because I need to give that extra 30 minutes of primp and prep in the morning to Just Elope. So today I'm wearing my hair in a ponytail and jeans when I go to work. Something's gonna fall. You just have to be able to balance it out. So on the days that I'm not a sucky mom, like, they don't think that, but on the days that I'm not, like, I go hard. Like, we doing this, we doing that. So to them, it's like, oh, this is so much fun. But you have to prioritize the day. And my husband is really, really good in the fact of wherever I'm slacking, he picks up. I love it. No problem.
I love it. So it sounds like whatever you're doing at that moment, you're intense. You're intentional.
Yes.
If I'm spending time with my kids, it might only be an hour, 2 hours, but I'm spending time with them. I'm not doing anything else. I love it. I love it. This is awesome. So I've got a lot of points already that I've heard from you. So realize that there was a need, and that's kind of what made you want to start your business. It was not just an idea out of nowhere. No excuses. Compete with your prior best instead of trying to compete and watch others. You are not owed anything. I like that part. Finish what you start, and you're gonna suck at something every day. You're gonna suck at something. I like it. My favorite part was don't stop when it's no longer fun. That was big. I love it. So could you please look in the camera? Right. We have again the target demographic, anywhere between 18, 20 to like 35, 40. Young millennial couples who you're doing exactly what they want to do. They want to run a business. Maybe speak to them and tell them what you wish you had heard back when you first started your first business? Maybe 2 or 3 points that you're like, hey, these are important.
Okay. Point number 1 would be find a niche. If you want to do any type of business, you have to figure out your target audience, because if you are trying to market to the world, you will fail. Point number 2 would be understand that it is not your family and friends' responsibility to support you. Because if you see point number 1 of finding your target audience, then you'll understand that 9 times out of 10, they are probably not your target audience. So if they don't support you, it's okay. Number 3 would be realizing that every idea in business that you want to start is not going to be successful, and you have to be willing to let it go and just take the strongest points from that to apply to something else. Because if you spend years and years and years turning your wheels trying to work on a business that's not successful, just because you don't want to seem like a quitter, where you could have took 1 or 2 good things, 1 or 2 great things from that business and applied it to something else that really held your attention, then you could have built something great.
Awesome. I love it. This is one of my favorite ones, man. Lastly, where can they find you? Where can they find you on social media? Your website. Let them know.
So our website is justelopedallas.com. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Just Elope Dallas. We are an elopement and pop-up wedding planning company here in the DFW. We do travel, and we marry couples anywhere. Coffee shops, Whataburger, basketball games. We've literally done it all and will do it all.
You married someone at a Whataburger?
We did a full reception at a Whataburger, and they won Whataburger for a year.
Wow. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I remember seeing something.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
We love the quirky, and if you have the quirky and you're looking to do something fun, whether that's elope, have a pop-up wedding, or renew your vows, give us a call.
Awesome. Jennifer, again, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
This is Argustic Dunbar, the hybrid entrepreneur. Till next time, signing off. See you guys.